You ready to dive into another episode of Insta Millionaire? This one is a wild ride, let me tell you.
Episode 4, right?
Yeah, episode 4. This time, we're in a college setting. It doesn't take long for things to get complicated.
College is fertile ground for these kinds of stories, right?
Totally. So we've got Alex, our Insta Millionaire, trying to keep his newfound wealth on the down low.
The classic hidden identity trope. Always makes for good storytelling.
Right. Like, think about it. How do you even begin to navigate that? Suddenly you're a millionaire, but you don't want people to treat you differently.
Well, and the episode tackles that head on, right from the start. You've got his girlfriend, Kathy.
Oh, Kathy. Talk about a gold digger alert.
She dumps him, basically because she thinks he's broke.
Ouch.
Yeah, and it really makes you question how we assess value in relationships.
Totally. I mean, is it all about the money? Because on the flip side, you've got Emma, who's a genuine friend to Alex.
She seems more intrigued by the change in his circumstances.
Right. But more than that, she's worried about him. Like, is he okay?
It's a good contrast. The author uses those two characters, Kathy and Emma, to highlight those different ways of relating to someone, especially when wealth enters the picture.
And then, just when you think it can't get any more complicated, we meet Joe.
Alex's roommate.
Yeah, Joe's the well-off roommate. And his heart's in the right place, but he kind of sets the stage for this perfect storm of social awkwardness.
Oh, so?
Okay, so Joe decides to invite Alex and their other roommates to this fancy restaurant, La Belle Vie.
Fancy.
Oh yeah, the kind of place where you need a reservation weeks in advance.
Okay, I'm sensing some potential for disaster here.
Right. And to make matters worse, Joe invites his new girlfriend, Susan, and her friends.
And Susan is all about appearances.
100%. Money, status, that's her scene. And of course, her friends are the same way.
So you've got Alex, who's trying to keep his wealth under wraps, thrown into this situation where everyone's judging everyone else based on appearances.
Exactly. And it's like watching a slow-motion train wreck.
Because they have no idea he's the real deal.
None. It's brutal. So picture this Joe, being the good guy he is, tells everyone to dress to impress, thinking he's doing Alex a favor.
Oh no, this is gonna be good.
Oh, it gets better. So Alex shows up being totally true to himself in his regular, casual clothes.
And Susan's reaction.
Let's just say she's not impressed. In fact, she actually makes a comment to Joe about how ordinary his roommates look.
Oh, that's rough.
Yeah, and then she specifically calls out Alex's clothes like, see, no money.
The irony is palpable. It's like the author is holding up a mirror to those snap judgments we all make, judging a book by its cover.
It's so true. We're so quick to form opinions based on appearances without even realizing it. And this lunch date, this is just the tip of the iceberg.
And the cringe factor definitely doesn't let up as the lunch goes on.
Not even a little bit. Like, you've got poor Joe, still clueless, trying to smooth things over.
He's trying to make a good impression, but it's just backfiring.
Big time. And you see Alex's other roommates, Ben and Carl, kind of caught in the crossfire. They're all dressed up, trying to fit in with this whole La Belle Vie scene.
Especially Ben, right? He's got his eye on Rose.
Oh yeah, he's totally smitten with her. You can practically see him thinking, maybe if I look at the part.
It's that pressure to conform, Like suddenly everyone's hyper-aware of the social hierarchy in the room.
And nobody wants to be the one who doesn't belong.
Exactly, which makes Alex's whole "I'm just gonna be me" attitude even more jarring.
Oh yeah, he's just rolling with it, completely unfazed by Susan's snide remarks about his clothes. It's almost like he's got this secret shield of, I'm a millionaire, remember?
But of course, nobody else knows that.
Exactly. So you've got this fascinating dynamic playing out, this clash between authenticity and, well, let's call it what it is, superficiality.
And the thing is, this isn't just some isolated incident, right?
Oh, absolutely not. It's like the author is using this whole lunch debacle as a way to hold up a mirror to society.
Because how often do we get caught up in those superficial judgments? Clothes, cars, the places we go, the things we post online.
It's like everyone's so busy trying to project this image of success that they forget to actually, connect with each other.
And it makes you wonder, what are we all chasing after? What really matters in the end?
Right. Is it the fancy restaurant? Or is it the company you keep?
And that's where the episode really gets you thinking. Because it's not just about money, it's about values. It's about what we prioritize in our lives.
And the crazy thing is, nobody at this lunch seems to be living by their supposed values.
Especially Susan and her friends. They claim to want a genuine connection, but they're so focused on appearances that they miss the real deal right in front of them.
Talk about a missed opportunity. But it also makes me think about how we define those genuine connections. Like, what does that even mean?
Good question. And how does that play out differently depending on who you are? Because there's another layer to this whole thing.
Right, you've got Susan and her friends all about snagging a rich husband. Like, that's the goal, the end game. And then you see the pressure on the guys, especially Ben, trying so hard to fit into that mold.
It's like they're all playing these roles they've been handed, even if they don't realize it.
Totally. And it makes you wonder about those unspoken expectations, right? The whole men as providers, women seeking security thing.
Right, and the author doesn't shy away from those potentially touchy subjects.
Not one bit.
Yeah.
But they handle it in a way that's both thought-provoking and hilarious.
It's a tough needle to thread, but they pull it off. I mean, you're laughing at the absurdity of it all, but you're also forced to confront some hard truths.
Exactly. Like, are we all buying into these expectations more than we'd like to admit?
Right, and how much of our behavior is driven by this desire for status, for material wealth?
It's like that saying, we buy things we don't need with money we don't have to impress people we don't even like.
Ouch. That hits a little too close to home.
Right. But as much as this episode makes you laugh, it also makes you think about those misplaced priorities. Susan and her crew are so busy chasing wealth and status that they completely miss out on the genuine article right in front of them.
It's like they're so fixated on the label that they forget to taste the wine.
Perfect analogy. And it all comes back to that question the episode leaves us with. Think about a time you might have misjudged someone based on appearances. What did you learn from it?
It's such a simple question, but it really makes you stop and examine your own biases.
It does, because we've all been there, right? Making snap judgments without even realizing it. But who knows, the person we dismiss as ordinary might surprise us.
They might just have hidden debts or, a secret offshore bank account.
Touché. But seriously, this episode reminds us that everyone deserves to be treated with kindness and respect, regardless of their bank balance or their wardrobe.
Well said. It's a good reminder to look beyond the surface, to challenge our assumptions, and to remember that true connection, real connection, is priceless.
Absolutely. And sometimes those most meaningful connections come from the most unexpected places. But hey, that's all the time we have for today's deep dive. Until next time, keep exploring those genuine connections, and remember, there's always more to uncover beneath the surface.